Well, we figured it was time. Let's open up the mailbag. Man, we have a lot of them to get to this week, next week, over the course of the off season. Might as well get to it now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of mailbag, so you might be seeing a lot more mailbag episodes. We don't want the questions to get stale, but today we get a voice memo, which we're very, very excited for you to hear. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on all the other traditional podcasting platforms. We're also on social media, X and Instagram. And we are having a mailbag episode today. So just a reminder, feel free to send in those voice memos or email questions, comments, concerns, hot takes, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Or if you'd prefer to DM us on one of the social media outlets, we will accept that as well. And as we like to promise and put forth, we do put priority, we do put emphasis on the voice memos. So with that, let's get into our first question right here.
Hi, my name is Benjamin, and I'm a huge Rays fan, and I think this is the moves that we should do next year, bringing people up and getting free agents. So this is why I want to get them. Stevenson, he is a great strikeout reliever. Matt Moore, same exact reason as Stevenson. Connor Falefa can play every position, like basically besides from catcher, third base, and basically everything, and pitcher, and basically everything else. And I would like to get rid of Taylor Walls and Bethencourt, because we'll have three catchers, and we'll have like way too many shortstops, and Taylor Walls can't hit or field right now. So yeah, that's what I think we should do for next season. And I'm look forward for making those trades next season.
Well, Benjamin, we appreciate the question, and Ulises let out a big smile because you mentioned getting rid of Taylor Walls. I think that made your day right there.
Well, yeah, Benjamin, you're the man, dude. Wow, what a great voice memo. Everybody be more like Benjamin.
Yeah.
Get your voice out there on the show. We will put you on. Thank you for sending that in. Look, Benjamin's got opinions, man. He wants to be heard.
Like
I like it. If I can pinpoint on something he said, is old friend Matt Moore. Man, he had such a terrific season this year. If you guys don't know, here are his numbers for the year: 52 and 2/3 innings pitched, 60 strikeouts, a 2.56 ERA, a 1.76 ERA plus. If you don't know what ERA plus is, 100 is medium, is average. So he is 76 points above a normal pitcher. So that his ERA at least. So that is fantastic. And a 1.15 whip. So he gets not a lot of traffic, which is great because now he has kind of transformed himself. Before he was a starter as we knew him in Tampa Bay. And now he's a 1 inning, 2 inning max guy. If you look at his game logs, most of his outings were 1 inning. He did touch 2 innings, 1 and 2/3 here and there. But he has just had a makeover of a career. And Kevin, quick trivia question for you, my friend.
Okay.
Do you know how many teams Matt Moore has pitched for?
I actually did look this up. I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different teams.
Exactly. So I'm guessing that you know them because you're looking at them right now, or?
Well, I had done some research on Matt Moore. I was like, man, he's bounced around quite a bit since leaving the Rays, and that might be an understatement. I mean, this season alone, he's played for 3 different teams between the Marlins, the Guardians, and the Angels.
Yeah.
So he's had quite the journeyman trek. And yeah, I like that point by you and Benjamin. I think that the Rays are always going to need arms. I mean, pretty much half of their pitching roster gets injured or has some sort of issue. I just wonder if the Rays would be willing or interested in paying the price tag that him and his agent are probably going to command. I know he was on a 1 year, $7.5 million deal. He'd probably want something similar. And based on the preliminary free agent market, he's going to be one of the more valued lefty relievers after Aroldis Chapman and Josh Hader. So it is quite a big of a drop off after Hader and Chapman. But I would think that Matt Moore, based on what he's done the last couple of seasons, could merit a little something. I was curious about this, though. How often do the Rays bring back a player, be it a position player or a pitcher, that they had previously discarded? I know we saw it recently with Erasmo Ramirez, but it just doesn't seem, to me anyway, it seems like once they've let go or gotten rid of a player one way or the other, they usually don't bring them back into the fold.
I can only think of 3 right off the top here. Delman Young, John Jaso, Chris Archer.
Okay. And Erasmo Ramirez, I guess.
Yeah. Besides Erasmo. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
no, you're on the money with that. They don't really, especially on the pitching side. Maybe we're missing one right now. But with a little bit more research, maybe we could get there. But no, I that's a point well taken. And buddy, I said lefty that goes an inning, maybe can touch 2 innings. That sounds a whole lot like Jalen Beeks. And when you compare the money, $7.5 million this year to projected Jalen Beeks 2024 salary of 1.8, you look at yourself in the mirror, Rays fan, and tell me which one do you think the Rays front office would probably opt to sign?
You want the one that's going to put up the numbers that Matt Moore put up the last couple of seasons. And I think what helps Matt Moore, a couple of things like you mentioned, but he is a legit 3-pitch pitcher as a reliever. I think that goes a long way between the fastball, the changeup, the curveball, and how he mixes and utilizes those offerings. And credit to him for reinventing himself and overcoming adversity and injury. And I'm just going to put this out as a little warning shot. A career arc and trajectory up or down can happen for a guy like Matt Moore. Matt Moore was the next great starting pitcher for the Rays, the next great starting pitcher, the young hotshot pitcher, starter in a Rays uniform. And I was looking at him. Hey, he's going to be the next David Price, basically. And you see where he's wound up now. It could happen to the likes of a Shane McClanahan and a Jeffrey Springs. I'm just throwing that out there. Shane Boss. Guys go from starters to relievers. You have 1 Tommy John surgery, 2 Tommy John surgery, setback here, setback there, struggle here, struggle there. Things change.
And I think like older baseball fans that are baseball nerds like both of us, and a little bit contemporary, might understand that. Maybe some younger fans or more casual baseball fans don't understand that. Like, oh, how can you say that about Shane McClanahan, Kevin Weiss? How dare you say that about Shane McClanahan? Don't you know that he's... It's like, well, we've seen a lot of ball, and this can happen. Like, it's unfortunate, but Matt Moore was going to be the next big thing. He was an all-star. He had like 17 games won, and when he was like 23, 24, which was way more than Shane McClanahan. I know wins are not everything, but at that moment in time, they kind of meant more than what they do in 2023. So to get 17 at 23, 24, that was really, really impressive. So I think his career has been kind of topsy-turvy, but at the end of the day, he has remade himself, and good for Matt. It's really awesome to see that he's still in the league and still performing at a high level. But again, going back, Jalen Beeks or Matt Moore, you would rather have Matt Moore, but because of the price, who are the Rays going to really sign? It would be Jalen Beeks.
Yeah, that's true. And you just wonder, maybe Matt Moore gives a little bit of a hometown discount, if you will, knowing that an understanding of working with Kyle Snyder and the environment that is, and being able to maximize his ability. It's just crazy that a couple of years ago he was settling for minor league deals. Like, that's what happens in the game of baseball. It can turn on a dime for you, for sure. All right. So great question there from Benjamin. I know we didn't get necessarily to touch on all those points. I'm not a huge fan. Well, let me say this. I like what IKF does in terms of the position versatility, but I don't know if an acquisition like that would really move the needle enough for me, particularly offensively. I think that's, maybe a focal point. I don't know what, outside of playing outfield, I know he can play, pretty much every outfield position as needed, but it's not like offensively he'd be a huge upgrade over Taylor Walls or anything, if that's the switcheroo you want to do.
I'd rather see, guys like Mead and Caminero just kind of, do that musical chairs in the infield. And besides, I think the Yankees played IKF in the outfield because of need, not because they wanted to.
Right. Yeah. I would, if, try to find more of an impact outfielder if you're going to replace Manny Margot, Tapia, Vidal Brujan. Vidal Brujan is who, or IKF is who Vidal Brujan should want to aspire to be. Like, I feel like that's peak Brujan if you can turn into that. Which I don't think that's going to happen.
No, we would be singing the praises of Vidal if that was the case. Yeah, 300 contact hitter, 280, 300 that can, provide a lot of versatility. He's got speed. Yeah, 100%, but that's not the case right now.
All right, we have more to discuss, but first we have to tell you this. October baseball is back, and you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your very first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/LOCKEDON, locked on, to create your account. Then you can get in on the action from the first pitch until the final out. Bet on everything from strikeouts to home runs to who will win the game. And if you don't want to wait the whole game to get a W, predict what will happen in the next at bat with a cool feature they have called Quick Bets. So here's what you need to do. Go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn right now and step up to the plate this postseason with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Okay, getting to this next batch of questions from Cindy. We actually have a two-parter here. We'll address them one by one. Cindy says, okay, Locked On Rays crew, can we please address the helmet issue? Get a helmet that fits. It's not cute. That is all for now.
I mean, yeah.
Is this a direct shot at Randy Arozarena?
And Junior Caminero, he also had trouble with the helmets. I don't know what it is. Is it they're too big for them? Like,
a couple things. It could be too big, which may just be a preferential treatment. Maybe the construction of the hat and the hair and the look may make it more likely to plop off. I also think it's a little bit of a showmanship thing, at least growing up and playing Little League. That was sort of a marker of, man, that guy's really blazing. He's running hard. He's going all out. When his helmet comes off, man, he's really into it right now. Just kind of a show of how aggressive that individual is running. And maybe that's how they want it. You have the helmet off. Maybe you run a little bit more comfortable and faster without the helmet versus with the helmet. Although, having said that, I would think that if the helmet is really that loose to start with, I feel like that wouldn't be settling in the box. It'd be a little unsettling based on, a pitch is coming at your head, or just as you're trying to swing, you have a non-secured helmet that's kind of jiggling and busting around. So there's a little bit of a mix and a match, but I could see how you can kind of let loose a little bit more and run the bases when the helmet is off, when you have that. I don't know how much weight or how much different there is in speed when the helmet is on versus when it's off, but there's got to be something to it. I know, a long time ago, Bryce Harper was known, or on one occasion would just flip the helmet off while he was running.
That's what I think it happens. That's what I think happens. It's they just do a move because they don't want it there. They want it off either by choice because they don't like it, or two, because for them it looks cool. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of a tilt of the neck there that they know how to get it off, and then that's how they do it. I don't think, because you're right, it would be unsettling to be standing 60 feet 6 inches in front of somebody with a helmet that's not really appropriate.
Yeah, I just think it's something where it's a little kind of look at me, which isn't terrible.
No.
So these guys have personalities; they want to show it. So that's the first thing. I can't say that I've been rankled one way or the other by a guy's helmet coming off while running. So I'll just leave it at that. The next point from Cindy is this. She was listening to the draft podcast recently, and it occurred to me, just reading verbatim here, that Kyle Snyder has done some awesome things with so many pitchers. I would love to hear his backstory and kind of showcase him and his contribution to the team.
Wow. I mean, he's the pitching whisperer for a reason, but if you didn't know Cindy, or if you didn't know Locked On Race family, Kyle Synder did pitch in the big leagues for a couple of teams, for the Kansas City Royals and for the Boston Red Sox. Now, he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. He chose to keep going in college, but his story is one of many, many, many times 17, many injuries. I mean, you're talking torn labrum, TJ. It was really unfortunate because he was a very bright prospect. And after years of toiling with all of those, he finally, decides to call it quits, becomes a coach, and then ultimately replaces the great Jim Hickey, which, Kevin, by the way, when this was happening, we all were like in the fiery room of like, oh my God, what is going to happen when Jim Hickey leaves? Like, are we going to be okay? Kyle Snyder not only steps in smoothly, but I don't remember the last time people were like, oh, remember Jim Hickey? No, it's now everything's Kyle Snyder, which is really commendable.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. We have not given a thought of, oh my gosh, where's Jim Hickey? We need Jim Hickey back. I think actually, I believe he's with the Washington Nationals now, and there's been some talk as to him possibly getting let go at some point, or maybe some surprise that he's still with that organization. I mean, the Nationals are just a mess as it is. But so Snyder's been the Rays pitching coach since 2018. And here's an interesting stat I found with him in the fold in that role. His staff, Rays pitchers, have posted a top 3 ERA in the league every season that he's been the pitching coach. So consider that with the payroll and the injury rate to boot. I think it's just a thing of, the Rays, to your point of promoting from within or finding replacements, that's just what they do, be it in the front office or a bench coach or an analytics guy. They just, okay, Andrew Friedman's gone, we've got Eric Neander. Eric Neander gets promoted, or Chaim Bloom leaves, or somebody else leaves. We've got a Peter Bendix waiting in the wings. We've got an XYZ waiting in the wings. They've got a scout waiting in the wings. They've got, the double A manager becomes the triple A manager, and on it goes, basically.
It's an organizational philosophy, right? It's the depth. Yeah. We're not going to get caught with our pants down, and that happens with the 40-man roster, but also with people out in the front office jobs and in the coaching jobs and all the way down in the minor leagues. So it's just an organizational philosophy. Now, That was a really cool fact. I'm going to give you another fact about one Kyle Snyder. He was once teammates with the great Brian Anderson, RBA, in Kansas City. In fact, although they were both pitchers, they only were able to link up in a game once. And that was on April 27th, 2005 against the Minnesota Twins. RBA, he started the game and he pitched 6 innings. And to close out the game, not close it out, but at least be the last pitcher who finished the game, because they did lose this game. The Royals did. It was 2005, folks. Kyle Snyder pitched an inning. He pitched, he faced 3 batters, 6 pitches, 5 strikes. It was a good day to be Kyle Snyder. Not such a good day for BA, who was the losing pitcher in that affair. But the one time that they both pitched in the same game was against the Minnesota Twins on April 27th, 2005.
How about that? That's research right there. Very good. Yeah, so I mean, with Kyle Snyder, I think we more or less covered it, but it's not just him again. It's the front office, it's player dev, it's the analytics folks that are helping to identify these diamonds in the rough, or these guys that aren't being maximized or utilized correctly by the 29 other organizations out there. But I think what I've read and heard and witnessed with Kyle Snyder is that, being that quote unquote pitching whisperer, he is able to present information to these guys in a digestible way, and his messaging resonates for one reason or the other. It's, hey, throw strikes, pitch with confidence, throw first pitch strikes. And another thing I learned recently is the Rays, not just Kyle Snyder, but I mean, the Rays in general are very, very forthcoming with presenting data and making it readily available to players if they ask. Hey, this pitch isn't feeling right. Let me go back and, hey, can you all look this up or check out this sequence? And whereas other organizations sort of have a gatekeeper and they want to keep things top secret, but the Rays sort of have that open door policy of, yeah, we will present, what you're asking for and what you're looking for. So, and the other thing too is I think the types of pitchers that they're identifying, I mean, one, there's something, they have that elite pitch that they can work with or mold, or they know that, hey, we can get this guy to sharpen up a slider or a sweeper, and mix things up and maximize this pitch versus another pitch. But you're dealing with, you're acquiring guys, whether it's a Zach Littell or a Jake Diekman or a Bob Stevenson or a Tyler Glasnow, who have struggled, who have experienced failure. They have some type of flaw. So I think with that, you're acquiring guys that are a little bit more modest and tail between legs, and maybe more willing to take that advice and that criticism and that information and say, hey, what is it that's going to take me to that next level? I'm going to listen to it, versus a guy that's, a veteran long in the tooth. I shouldn't say veteran, but a guy that, just, maybe is on a long-term contract and is settled and comfortable, doesn't care if he has a 5 ERA or a 2.5 ERA.
You got to be relatable, man. And in that position, and Kyle Synder has been relatable. You talked about injuries. Hello, this man has gone through any injury that you want. So What better way to be relatable to all these race pitchers than to be a guy that has had those issues? And you know what? Talking about medical issues, hey, how about Jase Medical? Modern medical care and treatment are important, but our global supply chains can be fragile. Things like pandemics, natural disasters, and foreign travel may cut you off from the treatment that you need. Jase Medical is your solution. You just have to fill out an online form, and one of Jase Medical's board-certified physicians will review it to determine whether medications are safe and appropriate. Then Jase will send your prescriptions to one of their partner pharmacies, where your order will be filled and mailed directly to your home. You can also send your physician a message for answers to treatment-related questions at any time. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase case. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's LOCKEDON at checkout at jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com.
All right, the final question that we'll get to, and again, we are always accepting mailbag questions and voice memos, so keep them coming. It's going to be a long off season. We didn't expect the Rays to be out and about this early on in October, unfortunately. But as Ulises mentioned before the show started, the Rangers are crushing the Orioles, so maybe that's a little bit of I don't know. I can't even think of the term. But it makes it feel a little bit better.
It's finished. 7-1. They are done. Bye-bye birdie. I mean,
bye-bye birdie. They weren't ready for it.
Weren't ready.
You know what? Hey, when you dust off that playoff atmosphere and that competition, it heightens a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. It is different, and anything can happen in a best of 5, best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, whatever it may be. So, all right, getting to this final question from Ethan Broom, an OG listener of ours, says, don't want to overreact, but I think it's time to ride with the young guys. Build around Caminero, Meade, Aranda, Josh Lowe, and Isaac Paredes. Take the model the Braves and Astros did. Yandy is a DH, and if Wander is done, then let's ride with Carson Williams. I can't watch Taylor Walls hit 200 again, and I would either restructure Tyler Glasnow's contract and extend him or trade him and get a good return. And a tale as, or trying to read through this here, basically we have to find a catcher in Tampa. I like Pinto as the second guy, but he can't be our answer.
Thank you so much for giving that to us, Ethan. It's been a while. You are an OG. Good to listen to. Good to listen from you. I guess that is Notre Dame football good this year.
Yes, but they're always overrated, and I believe it was it Louisville that served them up some humble pie? I believe so.
Oh, Ethan, you're getting it right here from Kevin. I love it. it.
So Louisville football's back. I've been telling people. Yeah, Louisville defeated Notre Dame 33-20 last
I've
week.
been telling people Louisville's back too.
Jack Harlow was there. Donovan Mitchell was there. All the Louisville legends.
Donovan Mitchell, Utah Jazz legend.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I wasn't there though, Louisville legend, but
that's true. Ethan, the Glasnow talk. We were going to have so many episodes on that, I don't want to touch on that necessarily. I want to touch on the getting rid of Taylor Walls, which Kevin Weiss very, very concisely put the other day. It has to do with 2 words. Wander Franco. Right. If the Wander Franco situation, if he's able to return, then I do think that you could see the Rays moving on from Taylor Walls and do a trade to a team like the Dodgers where his bat is not important to them. Yeah. I mean, this is a team that had Miguel Rojas there just because of the glove. They were like, no, we don't care. Catch the ball. Can you catch the ball? That's all we need. Even with a microphone, can you catch the ball? Oh, you can? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. So that's a team that could care less about the 75 OPS plus.
Now, like the Braves too,
Like the Braves. They don't need offense, and they're still getting it from Arcia. But if the Wander Franco situation is not resolved, Ethan, then I think, Kevin, you're right. And you're going to see a lot more of Taylor Walls. A lot more of Taylor Walls.
Yeah. No, it's good that you brought that up, and it all hinges, or a lot of it, I think, hinges on the Franco situation and scenario. And from what I've read and heard, that he could actually be playing in the Dominican Winter League. Is that correct? So it might be the very first time that I'm, trying to find a plug to watch Dominican Winter League baseball just to see what Wander looks like and if he still has it. If I had to guess, yes, he probably still has it. So that's going to make the offseason very intriguing going forward. And just piggybacking off of another point, I know Ethan put a lot out there. I mean, I think generally that's kind of what they're doing is they are building around the future. You see Caminero and Meade and Josh Lowe and Paredes getting more and more action and getting their opportunities. Now, I think the catching position is also a subject of note. According to Mark Topkin, it doesn't seem that the Rays are going to bring Bethancourt back. So I guess that means Pinto is your top dog as of right now. If I had to guess, maybe the Rays bring back or find room again for Francisco Mejia, and then hope and cross your fingers that Blake Hunt is ready to take the next step, and or Logan Driscoll is ready to take the next step. If I had to guess, it's probably, hey, let's see what Blake Hunt can do. He's turning 25 years old. He put up good numbers in AAA. Defense has never been a question. Smarts, intelligence has never, ever been a question. I mean, that might be his strongest quality and strongest suit. So I think that might be what they roll with. If you have to, fit in Alex Jackson somewhere, that's great. But I mean, I wouldn't be holding my breath for we're going to, go out and pull a Braves and acquire a Sean Murphy or something like that. As much as we'd like to see that, I think it's Pinto, Mejia vacillating between the minor and major league roster, and priming one of these young guys as a tandem with Pinto and going.
Nobody would be happier than having some stability and behind the dish. I would love that, but I also want to see one of these Rays prospects behind the dish, like give them an opportunity. Yeah. Give them an opportunity. Logan Driscoll, Blake Hunt, Jackson, like let's see what they have. I know it would be awesome to get that very shiny object. And maybe that is why you would trade a Glass now to get a very shiny catching prospect. A Gabriel Moreno would be lovely. Of course, there's no way in hell that the Diamondbacks would ever listen about that. But I'm just saying like a type like that, a catching prospect. That would be really cool. Now, before we go, I do want to say Alex Garcia, Nathan Winesett, Mia France, David Wood, Chase Ross, you guys have already written to us, and so you're on the list. We hear you. We will be making more mailbag episodes, and these are only the emails. These are not even talking about the DMs. So you guys are on the email, so thank you so much for writing to us. You will get on the show very, very soon.
Awesome. Yeah, love the shout out there. And I'm just going to say it. I'm looking up his numbers right now. I am team Blake Hunt. I think he had a 815 OPS. No, 835 OPS nice. In AAA.
Like 40 games?
Batting average. I'm
40
sorry.
Games?
How many games? 30.
Okay.
He must have had some sort of injury setback because he had 37 games in Montgomery and 30 in AAA.
Cool.
And it looks like he did better offensively in AAA versus AA.
Interesting.
So I think that might be one of the moves right there.
Friends of the program, Logan Driscoll and
yeah, we've had them both on. So if you have time this offseason, we know you probably will. Check those interviews out. Yeah. It's always fun to talk and converse with catchers because they do have a different perspective of the game, and it's almost like talking to a quarterback. They can just kind of,
Blake Hunt sounded like a manager, dude. Blake Hunt sounded like a manager.
Yeah, or owner, VP of baseball operations, president of baseball operations. He could be going the Sam Fold route before long.
Yeah,
just saying. Yeah, lots of respect for that guy and others in the organization as well. All right, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.